Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Wanted to get this out before the NBA season starts. I'm going to post this like whenever I'm done recording it. Leonie Fiebich, the New York Liberty rookie, X factor to me in their finals win over the Minnesota Lynx. Really an unsung hero with her shooting, 3-and-D skill set. And we're going to break down what she did in the finals and how she was so impactful. It was an awesome series, maybe a bit controversial, but excellent nonetheless. Like, subscribe, comment, all of that. Hopefully some more W content, maybe when I have time, but going to be ramping up with the NBA and draft content as well for the NBA draft eventually. And Feibish, man, she is a cold-blooded, ballsy, ice in her veins type shooter. She hit this one to ice game 2 and saved the Liberty from an unshakable, pretty much 2-0 deficit where, yeah, Feibish could have driven on a wide-open lane on a 3-on-1. Nope, she's going to pull up, check the laces. The confidence to take that shot in that moment in the finals. Feibish is no ordinary rookie. She played in the EuroLeague for a long time, and she was a really damn good EuroLeague player. And this was in overtime to start things off for the Liberty strong. Court closes out late. The quick, high release. Feibish being like 6'3", I think. 6'2", 6'3", maybe even 6'4", and really long as well helps her get that shot off. And she's an excellent movement shooter as well. She can sprint off of screens into shots. Don't really know why Courtney Williams went under here, but when you go under shooters like Feibish, they will punish you, rising up and hitting those threes off of movement just to make New York's offense all the more dynamic as well. Again, one dribble handoff, pull up, Courtney Williams goes under, Feibish drains the easy 3. It's great stuff from one of the better shooters in the league. I think she was 50, 40, 90 in this playoffs, which is absolutely crazy. Like, her efficiency was bananas. She isn't a great space creator, which we'll get to, and that does limit her to some extent as a mid-range creator. Like, in isolation, she isn't really one to get a ton of separation with her handle, and especially against an elite defender like Napheesa Collier. But then take a play like this where the ball swings and Feibish showcases her off-dribble shooting. Carlton runs her off the line, one dribble pull-up. By the way, for anyone who knows what Jet Howard's shot looks like, this looks like Jet Howard's shot. Tell me I'm wrong. I swear to God, Leo shoots just like Jet Howard. Anyways, Feibish is a flamethrower. She's a fucking flamethrower. And her shooting and spacing was critical to keeping New York's offense humming. And that shooting and spacing lent itself well to closeout attacking, where Feibish isn't an incredible driver or anything, but Feibish, because Fee respects her 3 so much, she closes out hard. Feibish gets a step and ends up drawing a foul on this closeout. Her finishing numbers were a bit down from the regular season, still very efficient. I think like 64% of the rim per synergy, down from 69%. Obviously having defenders like Napheesa in the paint made that harder to score, but again, drawing a super hard closeout, Carlton can't recover, she gets an easy look. So even though these shots weren't falling for Feibish all the time against the Lynx, like, you can see the extent to which her shooting helped Feibish create great shots off of the catch. But she's not really much of a one-on-one creator. Like, there was a lot of Feibish Courtney Williams stuff, which we'll get to, especially on the defensive end for the Liberty, but she just doesn't have the handle really to separate against smaller defenders at the time. Ends up, I think she's credited with an assist on this play, which, fair enough. Some home court advantage right there, I'd say. Feibish again taking this dribble handoff. She's going to get to the baseline, but her finishing, in this series just wasn't as good because I think of Minnesota's excellent interior defense. Alana Smith is a great defender, but good job regardless by Feibish taking like the empty side pick and roll to the rim, trying to like pump fake and step around, but just ends up not being able to get over Alana Smith, which, Alana Smith is an excellent rim protector. She's really, really good at that. Feibish can definitely win on straight line drives, though. Like, when she's just 1v1 against a defender who's not as strong, I'd say Carleton's probably their worst defender on the floor here at this point. And Feibish is able to blow by her in a straight line and finish at the rim right there. So she has some driving juice, even if it's not, like, primary stuff or anything. Another straight line drive into her floater, which I wish she shot more. Obviously, she doesn't have the handle really to get into her floater as much as I'd like her to, but Kayla McBride pressuring really hard. Feibish gets around her late here in the quarter, drops in a little teardrop floater there for an easy bucket. That showcases her touch. She's so tall again that she can get over. And these moments I kind of wish we saw more of, honestly, where Feibish switched on to Courtney Williams, just mouse in the house, takes her into the post, Look at the upper body strength and just the size to wall her off. Maybe a little bit of a hook there, but Feibish gets the steps. Her stride lengths are so long as well that she can just take 2 steps and round Courtney Williams, who's definitely strong but shorter and can't cover as much space. And Feibish is obviously a great off-ball finisher too. Another great example of her curling off of the screen here. Smith sets the screen, she curls off, takes one dribble, scores over the smaller Courtney Williams. Like, she was a really effective interior scorer from the wing, even if it wasn't like elite or as good as it was in the regular season. She was still very much able to do it and be productive. And she's just such an opportunistic player. Again, down the stretch in this fourth quarter, Feibish gets the offensive rebound. She got a lot of offensive rebounds, tips in or drops in the floater there. Again, very opportunistic player. And look at how Feibish immediately picks up full court. We're going to get to that in a little bit. Fiebich is also a phenomenal passer for a wing. Again, not really a creator, but she processes the floor so well in these advantage +1 situations where the Lynx have their defense in rotation. They're scrambling, trying to get back to the ball, and Fiebich is so good at quickly realizing, like, these 2 defenders are going away from Jonquel. Okay, Jonquel is going to be open. She knows this before she even catches the ball. She's processing the game at a very high level, right? It's not slow decisions, and that's what makes her such an incredible off-ball shot maker to me. It's not just the shooting, but like the fact that she can really make quick decisions is a pretty rare skill set in basketball, just like tall shooters with decision making. And she can make passes like this where she bounces it in a tight window to Breanna Stewart. The Liberty would trust her to initiate some of their set plays like that, which I think definitely speaks to their rightful level of confidence. She's a great entry passer as well. Great location on that inside pass to Jonquel Jones right there. And Fiebich can run your like basic enough pick and roll stuff as well. She's not perfect at it. Like, she will be vulnerable to pressure. We saw some good examples earlier for handling pressure, but she's not equipped handle-wise for the, to deal with a blitz and a trap. And I'm honestly surprised the Lynx didn't do this more. But yeah, I mean, she's not a point guard. This is not her job, really, to do this most of the time. That's what Sabrina and Sloot, to a lesser extent, are for on this team, right? But like I said, basic pick and roll stuff is in her wheelhouse. Holds Courtney on her back, sees that Collier's sitting in the paint, simple kick out to Jonquel, who shoots the hell out of the ball, obviously. What an interesting... I love... There's like no rotation on that ball. That's crazy. It's crazy how little rotation she gets on the shot, and it just falls in. Awesome. Anyways, makes the basic pick and roll kind of plays. Really good out of this like pistol action, which is just handoff or pin down, or at least in this occasion, a cut through into a dribble handoff. Fiebich, again, quick decision. This time with the empty side, since she doesn't have to hold her handle forever to read the floor because it's the empty side. She just passes it back to Stewie, who ends up hitting the pick and pop 3 right there. Her playmaking was phenomenal throughout as a secondary defender type player. And let's go back to that last play. Look at where Fiebich is. After her own assist, picking up Courtney Williams full court. They asked Fiebich to guard Courtney Williams for a lot of this series, and outside of a really good game 1, she did not have a great series. We all know what happened at the end of game 1, but we shouldn't forget that before the second Courtney Williams shot, Fiebich had a clutch defensive possession against Courtney using her length to deny, and it was a really interesting tactic to keep Sabrina off of a more dynamic driver. Obviously, Courtney's going to hit this. We can appreciate it. Damn, what an incredible moment. But look at this. Fiebich in overtime of game 1, checking Courtney beyond full court. They've got to set a screen to get her free, but Jonquel and Stewart's able to make an awesome rotation. They can get away with this partly because of Stewie's presence as like a weak side roamer, and what's her name? Sabali. Blanking on her first name. I believe it's Niara Sabali and Lainey Hamilton. Excuse me. Just really, really good defensive players as well. Fiebich getting a clutch stop here on Courtney Williams late down the stretch, important possession. And it's hard to shoot over someone with Feibich's size and length. It really is. Even if she's not the quickest player in the entire world, there were really impressive moments like this one where she stuck to Courtney Williams. Williams was able to get some advantage on this dribble handoff, but because Fiebich has great length and enough foot speed to kind of trail and sit on Courtney Williams' hip and contest with great length, it made life hard for a really talented scorer and creator who was coming off an excellent series. And because of Fiebich guarding Williams, the Lynx did a lot of cool stuff with their switching and the way they covered Williams and Collier. Like, they couldn't really stop Fee. Nobody can. It's okay. But this time they start out Fiebich on Nafisa, and because of that, they can switch these pick and rolls without denying an advantage. They're comfortable having Fiebich starting possessions, so they're like, okay, yeah, we can just switch Fiebich onto Courtney because we have her guarding Courtney anyways. This play is another good example of the way that they can use Feibish as their switcher right here. Jonquel steps up to guard Courtney Williams, and if they had Sabrina guarding Courtney Williams, which positional height matchups might suggest, then you have Sabrina guarding Alana Smith down in the post, which is a huge mismatch. But because you have Feibish doing it, Feibish pushes off, and late in the shot clock, Stewie can stunt and create a turnover and do Stewie things, right? Like, they can get away with these aggressive defensive moves because Brondello has Brianna Stewart. Like, and that's what you should do when you have a talent like her, is make defensive adjustments that amplify her talents. And I think Feibish certainly helped Stewie be the best version of herself on the defensive end, which she goddamn was. Oh my goodness, Brianna Stewart's defense was phenomenal in this series. Again, we see Feibish here starting on Courtney Williams, but because of that, they can easily switch Sabrina onto her, right? Like, they don't always want Sabrina starting on Courtney, but she can, and Sabrina's defense is honestly quite good. Regardless of her last game performance, her defense was quite good. Starting Sabrina on Alana Smith is like really interesting tactic, and I think, actually, no, that's Carleton, not Smith. My bad here. But anyways, they switch Ionescu onto the ball, so Feibish can guard, someone her own height, and Ionescu can still check Williams. So lots of interesting stuff in terms of screening and switching. Feibish's maybe main perimeter weakness to me is like she's not always great at chasing off-ball screens. It's hard for taller players to have the agility and the foot speed to chase around off-ball screens, and at some points, especially when she was guarding like McBride off the ball, Feibish would just like run straight through the screener, Collier, whoever, and draw a foul or end up getting stuck or something like that. Again, trying to chase Courtney around, and she's going to end up fouling here as well. She's much better in like straight, isolation or standstill point of attack defense than this kind of off-ball screen navigation. But she is a really nice off-ball defender as a whole. As when Feibish can just like run in this straight line and deny, this was a great example of like navigating this dribble handoff, just blowing it up here, using her length here. I feel like I said here so many times, but Feibish with her left hand has her hand in Heineman's pocket, steals it with the right hand, ends up going the other way. Like, just a really impactful defensive player with her length and with her size, and she could jump passing lanes too and put her hands up and get steals that way. So just a really impactful two-way performance all around from Leo Feibish. She was one of my favorite players to watch this year. Just like, I love a fiery, like, low-maintenance role player who can come up in big moments, hit these big shots, but also is like really smart and a great defender. There's a lot of the things I love in a complementary wing, and Feibish, I really don't know if the Liberty win this title without Feibish. I don't know if they win. I don't think that's crazy to say. Like, she was 50, 40, 90 in the finals on like 10 plus points. That's crazy. Anyways, can't wait to watch Feibish next year. She's a monster.